Hey, everybody. Welcome to the weekly coaching recap with me, Allegra Stein. It's so nice to have you here. If you are watching on YouTube, hello. Thank you for being here. Feel free to like and subscribe and share all your comments and questions below. If you're watching in Misfit to Maverick, know that you can follow up on any of these ideas with me directly. And yeah, these videos are simply sizzle reels that are inspired by the Tuesday open mentorship calls that we have in Misfit to Maverick, which is this awesome mentorship membership that I run for coaches. And what we do during those calls, I will show you really quick, is I invite people who are there to capture their biggest insights on digital Post-it notes using the Jamboard application through Google. This is the Jamboard we created this past week. Isn't it absolutely beautiful? And what I'm going to do is I just kind of pull from and reflect on some of those Post-it notes in about 10 minutes or so to bring you the highlights with hopes that they help you on your coaching journey in some way. So during this call, a couple of really cool things happen. First, one of the coaches in Misfit to Maverick is very eager to try out Facebook Live. Similar principles around doing Instagram Live, but is naturally kind of terror-excitified about it, right? It's exciting, but also really scary. And so on the call, it was so meta because so many layers were happening. I actually shared my screen, went on to Facebook, went to my Facebook business page, which I haven't posted in for a long time. And I went live on my Facebook business page to show her how all the different tech worked, because she had really understandable questions. Who's going to see it? Will I be able to see comments? Just wanting to know a bit more about what she was getting into before she clicked go live. And so that was just a really neat demo. It was a fun experience for me because I didn't know if anyone was going to be watching me, and I just hopped on there, and it was a great experiment. I'll actually share the link to that live in the comments. I think you can catch that on YouTube. So there were a number of Post-its. Facebook Live is not as scary as you think. You actually have lots of control over how it looks when it's posted, etc. Where else? You only have to be on for a minute. That was a big one. You remember the first step, oftentimes we think we have to be perfect the very first time. But what if the very first time you do something literally is just showing up for 10 seconds on Facebook Live and then clicking end? Then you've done it. It breaks the seal a little bit. And I almost guarantee that after the first time you do it, you're going to want to do it again, because it's really invigorating. And it's actually really neat when you're on a live and you see someone watching. You think that's going to be the scariest moment, but I find it's very invigorating because you just want to know who they are and do they have any questions, and you want to offer your help. So that's really exciting. But there was another note that said it doesn't matter if anyone shows up. And that's true too. One of the beautiful things about being a coach at the beginning of your journey is you may have a small audience of people kind of paying attention to what it is that you're doing. And that's great, because you don't have to worry about letting too many people down. You're not going to let anybody down, but not many people are watching. It's super low stakes. And there's just a lot of freedom in having a small kind of sphere of people watching you to begin, because it just, I think, makes it feel a little more safe and fun to play and experiment. So if you've been thinking about running any kind of live experience, which I encourage because it allows people to see you and to experience you in a way that may, encourage them to take the next step, whatever that might look like. The next coach was on the call. She has actually been running this really great experiment. She's actually, it's a project at this point where she's sent individual emails out to all kinds of people that she already knows, former clients, friends, people she's known in different parts of her life. I don't know how many emails she sent out, maybe 150. Now, that might sound crazy, but to send out 150 personal emails is not totally bonkers, especially when the body of the email is the same thing. There's a lot of copy pasting, but you open it with something personal. And she essentially reached out to everybody she knew and said, hey, I'm doing this new thing. I'm exploring my coaching more deeply. Would you like to be on my list to get updates? Both yes and no are perfect answers. And she got over 100 yeses. So from the jump, without having to meet anybody new, She had 105, maybe she's up to 115 by now, people saying, yeah, I'd like to hear from you more regularly. And so she's taken these people, she's now experimenting with email software, which is really helpful. And when she came to the call, she's like, what should the first email be? I want the first email to just be the right email. What do I say? And the Post-it notes reflect kind of where we landed on that. Be liberal in your use of the word experiment. Keep people in the loop that this is new for you. Be real. Say, oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you said yes. And I'm just learning as I go. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me on this experiment that I'm trying out. People love to be part of new things. So tell them that this is new for you. Small steps, make it an experiment. This one, don't send the email, just write a quick note. So my advice to her was, what if you didn't have to send the first email? What if you could just send a super quick note, right? Change the name, change the position of it, change the implication, change the job of the email. And what if the job of the note is simply to say, hi, thank you so much for being here. And at the same time, ask them to write you back and tell you something about them. Ask a specific question. And maybe for that first email, when they're first hearing from you, make it a super fun question that people are likely to click reply and tell you something about. It doesn't have to go super deep, super fast. You don't have to include everything in every email. And if the idea of crafting some big, perfectly polished note is holding you back, just do something super simple and sweet and nice. Pretend it's your friend you're writing to. Pick one person in that list of people who said yes and just write a note to them, right? Keep them in your mind. And that can be the basis of the first email that you send. Start with hello. That's right. Whether it's on Facebook Live or in an email note, start with hello. Hello, how are you? I'm so glad to be here. The final thing that I want to share, oh, this is great. Ignore the advice for making something successful in the long run, like the algorithm stuff. Just do your own first tiny baby step. You have to realize the people who are like modeling success and, all the things that you see now all started with doing just one little thing. And it's so easy to compare our beginnings to someone else's middle or ending or whatever they're doing. You have to remember that every journey starts with tiny little steps, and that's all you ever have to do. The final thing, there was one of the final question on the call was a coach who has had someone say yes to a coaching partnership, but she lives internationally. So they're trying to figure out an ideal payment processor. And quite simply, she had asked her, would PayPal work? And she said, yes, PayPal would work. And I just want to let you know that on PayPal, you can very easily set up an invoice and a subscription. I believe that to get a PayPal business account is free. You don't have to do anything other than just kind of share a little bit of information. And once you have that, you can very easily send invoices and subscriptions, meaning like if they're going to pay, the same price 3 months in a row. And then you just send them the link to the button. So I just want to put that out there, that PayPal is a super easy way to start getting paid. The website, I will admit, is not super intuitive, but that's what Google is for. I have many times Googled, how to create subscription button on PayPal, how to, send an invoice on PayPal. And there is so much out there for you to explore. So those were the highlights from this week. I didn't tell you the date. It's June 9th. The call was on June 7th. And if you have any follow-up questions, post them below. And if you want to join Misfit to Maverick, you can come to next Tuesday's call and we can work directly on whatever it is that you're thinking about in your coaching. And if you're in Misfit to Maverick already, let me know what you need. I'm here for you. I'll see you all next time.